believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions, be truth seekers, be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions, standing in the Hall of Fame.
Hello there and welcome to Personality Profile here on Joy 99.7 FM and on Joy Prime as well. My name is Lexis Bill, and you know, when I take my seat like this, it means we have an amazing Ghanaian who's ready to tell their story. We get to know a bit more about them, what their life has been like, the lessons along the way, and of course, what we can also pick from them, and more importantly, what they're up to. They're impacting society in so many ways, and today I have one such amazing guest for you. You'd want to know about this man. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He's actually a very accomplished chartered marketer and chartered management consultant, renowned for his contributions to marketing, strategic business development, and public administration. Yeah. He's the immediate past director of operations at the National Lottery Authority, NLA. Having previously served as the Pioneer Marketing and Sales Director, that was from like 2003 to about 2011, and later as the Director of Special Projects at the NLA. Now, beyond this impactful role at the NLA, he was formerly the Vice President of Manette International Corporation, a leading real estate development firm. He also co-founded George & Associates, a business strategy, as chairman of Temple Estates. His international experience includes working with British Telecommunications PLC as a global finance service executive, where he played a very key role in service management and financial operations. Now, his academic portfolio is very impressive as well. You'd love to know this. He holds a graduate diploma in international marketing from the London School of International Business, a postgraduate diploma in management studies from the London Guildhall University, an MBA from London South Bank University, a master's achievement in business resilience, MABR, from the Business Resilience Certification Consortium International Canada, and a Doctor of Public Administration from Commonwealth University. Look, I mean, I could go on and on and on. He serves on the Membership Professional and Advisory Committee of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, CIM UK, the largest professional marketing body in the world. In 2010, he was inducted into the International Who's Who Historical Society of Professionals, and in January 2023 as well, he was installed as the Okuapehene Sompahene. That's actually more like a selfless servant with the heart of philanthropy. And his true name is Nana Gyamfi-Osew. Dr. George Gyamfi-Osew is my guest on Personality Profile. And this is just the abridged version of his profile. Nana, memawo akwaba.
Yeja.
Na pomwe.
Boko na onswe.
Nyamiado. Miesi gunsa na se esi tredwan bia.
Nana no mo ati ase da.
Nana no ati ase da. So good to see you. How are you?
Very well.
And I need to say you're looking very good and regal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Looks like retirement is treating you well, isn't it?
With your prayers and fasting, I think it will be better.
I don't bother fasting and I don't pay me But yes, no, I'm so happy to see you and all of that. And then thanks for welcoming us into your humble palace.
My pleasure.
To get to know a bit more about you and all. I'm just wondering what has been keeping you busy now that you're probably out of active, civil service and all. What has been keeping you busy?
Once a soldier, always a
always
soldier.
A soldier.
The consulting bit is there, the
Okay.
chieftaincy is there, the philanthropy is there.
Okay.
So it is what it is. But if you keep going, it keeps you alive. So I'm enjoying it.
I even get the feeling that you are even busier now that you're retired.
This is what we say as retirees. We tend to be busier more than
when you are working.
Because now it becomes like I need to shuttle between my two homes, the mountains and here constantly, and then going outside as well. But it is all good.
Yeah, I mean, getting in here, a few things struck me. You've got a very beautiful place, but I see a lot of replica cars, and these they look very pricey. I mean, what is it? Is your passion cars or what?
So one must have a passion. I won't talk about what others have, but mine is collecting these miniature or replica cars. Okay. They're not toys as people think. These are replicated according to scale. Okay. So I started collecting when I joined British Telecom in '87, and it's been like that. I used to remember when my kids used to fight over them as if they were toys, but now they buy them for me. Wow. So I have a collection of over 700 of such replicas.
Over 700 replica cars?
Because it's been, what, almost 40 years since I collected, so.
I see that one over there. Is that the James Bond BMW? The one that James Bond used in
his movies.
In his movies?
Yes. And you can attest the weight.
Anita, please bring it over. I mean,
feel the weight.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Feel the weight.
I see.
Even with both hands. So.
Guys, have a look at it. This is the original James Bond car and a replica of it here.
These are not ones you can find in shops. They advertise or write to us as collectors. Yeah. And then you check underneath. Okay. You see?
Oh, right. Okay.
Everything.
Wow.
Made to scale, replicated to scale.
The world is not enough. 1999. This is amazing. Wow. So, and I see even all the doors open.
Everything open.
Everything is like the car. Right? Perfect. I can open the boots, the engine.
The same car reduced to scale. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I call it.
Then I'm probably going to ask you the most difficult question you've been asked. What's your favorite car?
My favorite car for now, as you see out there, is what I bought for myself for my retirement. That's a Lincoln Aviator.
The Lincoln Aviator?
2022 model.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was your retirement car? Yes. What is it about that car?
No, it is, you know, it's steady. It's not too big, but it's all-wheel drive. It's a 4x4, but it's not as high as the, what you call it, the Land Cruisers or whatever. Okay. Of course, I have the other Land Cruiser there. Yeah. But this is lower a bit, so the aerodynamic kicks in. And I love power, I love speed. So it glides. So that's why they call it Aviator. It's like a plane. Like a plane. When you're inside, the setup, the buttons and everything, it's like a plane.
Wow. Yeah. I think I need to see that when we're done with this interview.
We'll do that.
But anyway, a little bit told me that you've been busy setting up the Nana Kwesi-Osew Foundation as well. I'm curious why you decided to set that up.
So technically, my life all along has been the leader-servant kind of life. You know, leadership is not about lording it over anybody, but leading by example. I'm a born and bred Presbyterian, of course. You are in the school. Debbie, Odadie.
Odadie, you know, okay.
Remember, if you went
proud Odadie, yes, I thought you were referring to the church. Our time we had a music master called Ayitong. Okay. If you heard about him, you know, he says when you come to the school must pass through you, not you passing through the school. Yeah. So if the Presby training passes through you, you know what to, no matter how high or old you get, you learn to serve. And that's all Christianity or religion is all about. Regardless of high faith, Muslim, whatever, is all about service to mankind. Because service to mankind is the greatest work that you can do on earth. And that's why you decided to set up this foundation.
Yes.
So what areas are you looking at, you know, working
technically,
with this
you know,
foundation?
growing up from olden days, there's been this have and have-nots. That divide has always been there. I'm not calling for equality, but I'm calling for equity. At least that divide, the gap must be bridged a bit. And this is a calling. So some of us are called to help bridge the gap. That's why we setting up this foundation called Nana Kwesi-Osew Foundation, named after my chieftaincy title. So technically it's to empower the youth and develop communities. So talking about developing the youth, getting them straightened up, not to fall into these nuisances that are going on, drug addiction. Now I hear something called RED, and you see these young guys standing, but they say they are asleep. How could you be sleep standing? But these are some of these things. Apart from mentoring and talking to them to get onto the straight and narrow path, it's still good to get them into work
Yeah.
or trades so that they could do something for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and then talk about community development. We all live in society and community. Even Accra here, there's some areas that lack essential amenities like toilets and bathroom showers. So how much more rural areas? So we need to look at all these things. Talk about going to hospital. The national insurance card renewal, I think, is less than 10 cedis. But of course, in the rural areas, 10 cedis is not 10 cedis, it's more than 10 cedis. So occasionally, if you could organize renewals for them or let them acquire and we pay for them, they could access medical care at a reduced or no cost.
Okay.
Talk about AstroTurf, sports development. If you go to the Asian Tigers, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, every area has an AstroTurf or a small field which is multi-developed where you could do track, you could do volleyball, you could do basketball. These are places that these young people can go and burn positive energy instead of painting it up and go do nonsense things on the street.
Okay.
So we're encouraging these things within our communities, and we'll make sure we build a few for the youth to direct their energies towards them.
Right, right. And now you have the other role as a chief, a Sompahene.
Yes.
And Sompa, I'm guessing, means Osompa.
Or some,
Like good
so
service.
it's service.
Yeah, service and all of that.
So, as I said, it's servant leadership. So if you're a chief, you're not lording it over anybody, but you're serving to show them the way.
Okay.
So we'll continue to do that, and especially the young ones, encourage them and inculcate discipline and serve it into their system so that when they grow up, they will be straight and narrow.
I see. Interesting. But the chieftaincy title and the role,
Yeah.
did you get it because you are from the royal family?
No. I could be from the royal family, both from my mother and my father's side, but chieftaincy has never been my goal or in my mind.
Oh, I see.
But if the king summons you, what do you do? And that's why they said, brighten the corner where you are. If you work as if you're working for the Lord, because you've been what you don't know. So that's how the chief spotted me over the years and seen what I've gone through. And of course, my mom comes from Okuapehene, but my dad comes from Okuapehene. So having seen me, he invited me to come and help him govern the state. So my title is Okuapehene Sompahene, which makes me a Sompahene of the whole of Okuapehene.
Wow.
So we'll help him, of course, to steer his goals into action, especially within the youth and the service arena.
Good stuff. Amazing. I mean, we'll get into all of the lessons along life's way and all of that, but let's get to know a bit more about you. I mean, you just mentioned that your dad is from Okuapehene and your mom is from the
Okuapehene.
Yeah. So you're a mix of very, distinct Akan, tribes and all. But tell us about growing up and all of that.
Growing up, as I said, my secondary school days were Presec, which everyone knows without doubt is the best school in the whole world.
The best school in the world, I agree. I mean,
and
no doubt.
Because of that, we didn't want to be selfish, so we even invited a few ladies there. And you could name a few higher ranking, like Lucy Quist.
Lucy Quist, yes, that's
the former AT MD. And now you have Patricia.
Yeah.
You have our global president, who is Oforisa Pong.
Yeah, Dr.
Special eyes. And the likes of them. If you go abroad, the number of Presecans doing magic out there, that's what we call our blue shade, the blue magic.
Yes.
It's amazing what Presecans are doing or accomplishing across the globe. And even here, I bet you, if you take any 3 doctors and you ask them, 2 were made from Presec. Yes.
There you go. There you go. Proud or daddy?
Yes.
In thy light we shall see
light.
light.
And let's tell them in Latin. In luminitu videbimus lumen.
Anyway, so did you grow up in Okuapehene or in Ko?
I could say, talking about grandmothers, I didn't have the luxury of living with mom and dad. But I think I lived a bit with maternal grandma and a bit with paternal grandma. Then Presec, and after Presec, I went away to Europe in '81.
In 1981?
Yes, after sixth form.
Okay, so what was the reason? Why didn't you live with your parents?
My dad was a teacher who, you know, teachers and policemen, they keep relocating.
Okay.
And so if you want your children to have some kind of stability, so these were the grandmas. And again, I'm happy because then you tend to enjoy a bit of the Okuapehene space and then a bit of the Kwahu space, which is very, very good. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been.
But do you think life would have been different if you grew up with your parents
How would you have known? So knowing that consciously, although I had my 3 kids in London, I made sure at least all of them came to Ghana to enjoy 2 or 3 years of secondary school before going back.
Oh, I see.
So it's good to taste this kind of living that I'm talking about. Yeah.
So what was it about Ghana or having your children come spend those 2 years? Was there a gap that you feel needed to be filled?
Yes, it's very important that you hear this young generation children say, oh, my mom and dad are from Africa, but I'm from England. Oh, you're a Ghanaian somehow. So, but if you're a Ghanaian without the Ghanaian culture or any of the languages at all, how Ghanaian are you? So I was conscious of that. And I remember even taking them to church. If they give them Bible quotation, I used to translate into Twi for them to say it, and everybody will clap. So my kids learned to speak Twi even before we brought them to Ghana.
Oh,
So at least if you come, you're from Ghana, you don't have a classmate, you don't have any friend. But at least the girl went to Okuapehene International. She's now got a lot of linkages. The boys went to Galaxy. They also have linkages. So you need to have some roots, no matter how little.
Interesting. Now, you went to the UK in the early 80s.
Yes.
And that was for school.
Yes.
What was the plan? What did you want to be?
I think I am lucky in a way that my parents never pushed me to do a particular course or subject. But all along, I knew I was a business person. So at Presec, I did business and then continued. And you look at my things, it's all marketing, marketing, marketing. I think when I was young, I was talking about being an accountant. But I realized I am a natural salesperson. So it ended up in marketing and relationship management or things like that, service management, part of marketing.
I
So
see.
that's how it is.
Now, how were the early days like in the UK? I'm sure then you're a black boy now in the UK.
I like when you say black boy. I remember that when I finished the school, which was the International Business Graduate Diploma, I decided to work myself as a salesperson, you know, direct sales. And we were the first black people on the streets of London selling insurance.
Really?
I'll never forget how to even get appointments, you know, because your voice alone, your tonation knows you are not an English boy. And you wanted to get into an English room to go sell them insurance. And insurance has always been difficult because it's intangible.
Yes.
But of course, we're able to break that ground and get into it. So my life actually started from direct sales in insurance, build it up. From there, I joined British Telecom as a marketing person, but really specializing in the service management area.
The early days of selling insurance as a black boy, like you mentioned, what were the challenges you faced?
It's basically getting an appointment because you need to go through what we call the yellow book. The yellow book, those days, you didn't have Google Maps and whatever. That yellow book will give you people's telephone numbers and addresses. So you're doing cold calling, and people hated it. But you need to find a way to break the ice and get in. And if you get an appointment, you're lucky. So you go in there, whether you close the deal or not, you need to get more referrals to now start you off to make more calls, to get appointments, to get more referrals. That's how the business worked.
I see. Must be an interesting part of your life.
Yes, I enjoy people. So getting into your home, if you let me in, that's it. I go for the kill.
What worked for you with the cold calling and trying to get appointments? What worked for you?
It's being affable and jovial and, you know, trying to align within their space and then get in there. And our insurance was not the number because there was a coinage. It was mainly a savings plan, insurance backed. So, you know, like in England, Presec is a boarding school. Most secondary schools in Ghana are boarding schools. But when you tell somebody you went to boarding school in England, say, oh, George, you don't mean it. But for them, it's a big deal. So if I tell you, ma'am, sir, if I can show you a way to take your child to boarding school within the next 6 years, oh, yes, tell me, because huge sum will be saved. And through savings backed with insurance plan, you could do it.
Yeah.
And that's how we get to do it. So it's mainly a savings plan backed by insurance.
I like how you switched the tonation when you started saying "mom, sir." I could hear the British accent in there.
You can't help it sometimes. You can't help it.
That's interesting. So after that, you did join British Telecoms, like you said.
Yes.
And what was it like as well?
It was good. British Telecom as well took me around the world somehow because I had a portfolio of Japanese accounts. Whatever service they needed within British Telecom, they'll come to me first, and I'll arrange within the BT space to get the thing done.
Okay.
And then we had some partnerships with Sprint in America where they will help do jobs within the US, and we also help them do the jobs in the UK.
Okay.
So I was a lead team member there, and so kept going to Atlanta up and down to coordinate that one. So it was an exciting period.
Yeah, it sounds really exciting. And you were there for how long?
I worked for BT for almost 13 years.
13 years?
Yes. So
wow.
I left BT straight to come to Ghana in 2000.
Why?
Growing up or growing older, I didn't like the cold. And I've always wanted to come back. And I didn't want to see some of the older people, they're growing old in abroad or London especially. I didn't think was a good thing. So I wanted to come home younger. And that's always been my dream until I had the opportunity to come be the vice president for Manet in the year 2000. So that's why I came, relocated to Manet.
You talked about you didn't like seeing the old people growing up in the UK.
Yeah, you know, UK has a close or nuclear family system. So if it's you and your wife, it's you and your wife. Your kids will move, you have an empty nest. I mean, of course, your wife is not a slave. They cannot be going shopping and cooking and whatever. But the African system is different. Even if you had no kids and you're growing older, you have an extended family member look after you somehow. Oh, daddy, uncle, grandpa, do you have some clothes to be washed? Or blah, blah, do you want to go to the market? In England, you need to do it yourself. And life is not easy growing old. So I was looking at these things and I said, no, I cannot grow old here. And the cold is not your cold. Ghana is not cold. So why are you there?
Yeah.
So also if you want to go, you can go anytime. But basing there was not my thing. So
looks like you were preparing for these days, eh?
Of course. Of course. Because the people who retire, you live there 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and come home. Where are your friends? Where are your classmates? So you'll be lonelier.
Yeah.
So it's better to resettle early.
And get into the social fabric,
Get into the
have
groove.
a network.
Yes.
And then
So
probably
now,
when you
at
retire.
least, my first 2 years or 3 years coming back was not easy. But now I've reconnected to the old boys. And we, 77-year group of Presec, we are the strongest, most active year group.
Right.
According to me.
I see. I mean, I like how you relive your days in Presec so pretty well.
Yeah.
What's your fondest memory of that year group? And of course, your times in Presec?
Times in Presec, 77-year group. It was fun. And we were not, I think Presec migrated or relocated from Probodumasi to Legon in 68. And we joined in 72 or so. So it wasn't too far. And the headmaster who migrated with them to Presec, E.K. Dacha, was a respected and revered headmaster. When he enters the common room, even the tutors will rise for him.
Wow.
So you can imagine that kind of discipline. Even your master or tutor is disciplined, how much more you? So those days, you remember, there were lashes.
Yeah.
The assistant headmaster does the lashing. So if they say you are being wanted at his office, be prepared. So discipline, discipline, discipline.
Yeah.
You know, but of course, we're encouraged to do other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now it's 2000, year 2000. You have a good business, or should I say, you're working with a very good company in the UK, and then you decide, okay, now I want to go back to Ghana.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are variances when it comes to standard of living, your earnings,
Definitely.
and whatnot. But you still insisted on coming.
Even my sector director for global finance, Jim, he said, George, you don't have to go. And I said, I come from Ghana. He said, no, you can't go. And I said, I want to go. So it gets to a point when you're fed up, you want to go. People have good jobs. Life is not always about the money. If I can tell you my salary at the time, 1999, 2000, compared to what I came to take. But so life is...
I'm curious, can you tell me?
Oh, no. I was earning at least 5 times more than I came to manage. And even at the time, people thought, hey, what a big salary. But even that one, I was just mitigating what I could send back to the family in London. So just about a fifth of what I was earning. But life is better. When we talk about living well, it's not about money.
Yeah.
What your money can do. Look at the space we have here. You know?
If you're in London, you probably would be in a very small cubicle.
You understand? And that's £500,000.
Yes.
And it will be about a quarter of this house.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have a place to park your car.
Of course you do. £500,000, we have 2 parking spaces plus off-street parking.
Okay, well, yeah.
But, I mean, the rooms are not this large.
Yes.
So it's millions of pounds if you want to do this.
Yeah.
Because this size of plot could build about 6 terrace houses. But that's the joy of coming back home. You know, the quality of life improves.
Yeah.
You know, so if you have a steady income and well-developed mindset of accountability of spending, you live well with a fraction of what you used to earn there.
But I'm sure even when you did relocate and you decided in your mind that, okay, I'm coming to Ghana, I'm coming to stay, regardless of the fact that I'm not earning as much. Even then, it was difficult. And I'm sure at some point you were like, am I making the right decision?
It is. As for the decision, I knew I was making the right decision. But coming back to Ghana is maybe doing your main job and being able to do other things that you've always loved to do.
Okay.
I've always loved to be in the real estate business. And so even from 96, when I used to come on holidays, I used to buy land. So I bought land from New Botiano to Adan.
Oh, wow.
So the point is, you want to do real estate. The question, where is your money? So I forgot about it. Then some small boy said, okay, so you have the money, where is your land? So I realized it was land first. So that's when I started acquiring the land until when I came, I decided to start a real estate business.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So that's actually where you landed, the real estate industry.
Yes.
But some way, somehow, you made your way into the Department of National Lotteries. I think that was the name at the time.
Okay, yes. So this will show you, if you look at how I've transitioned from insurance salesman to telecom, to real estate, to lotteries, and now to what? So life should not be static, and you must not be boxed into an area or into a corner in terms of work or profession. So we call something in management transferable skills.
Okay.
The skills that you're using to manage what you're doing now as in media, you could use the same skills to transition into another industry. So do not be boxed, oh, Lexis Bill is into radio, is into media. No way. You could be into real estate. You could go to national lotteries to become a PR.
Right.
Or what you call it, business development or anything that you put your mind to.
That's true.
So transferable skills will transition you onto other things if you so wish. I did exactly 2 years and then started my own consultancy and adjunct faculty at Gyamfi as well.
Okay.
So it had started Temple Estates as a new baby. Was doing my consultancy. Those days, the key people that I was consulting for was a Metro, Talal and Fadi Fatal, the two of them. So they call me the third Fatal brother. So I was always with them.
Yeah.
So I always used to go there and do my adjunct. So I realized the adjunct facultyship at Gyamfi was not helping me because Tempo is a new baby. It's like you need to babysit it.
Yeah.
So I stopped the adjunct, and my godfather, Professor Dai, was wondering why I don't want to come to the plan. I said, listen, I've got a young baby that I'm babysitting, so it's difficult to do that. So that was easy. And then 2003, a year after I started Tempo, the government had invited Mr. Anda to take over the revamping or turning around of the national lotteries. At that time, it was department, because the private sector has eaten into it so much that it was non-existent. So I think Mr. Anda went there. He had two helpers, Mr. Adiobo to be the operations, and then Charles Mensah. And then me, I was sitting at my somewhere. Then I was approached that they've heard about that I'm marketing specialist, and they've tried to look at it, but the whole thing is marketing, is hinged on marketing.
Right.
How to expand and develop new products. And my mind wasn't telling me I should go, because even private, I've quit private.
Yeah.
How much more government? So we kept talking back and forth until finally I went. But my uncle said, Kwesi, go, but don't close your business. You know how politics and government works. You could be asked to go back. So I left it open. But my idea was to introduce them to marketing and set up the department of marketing for them to run.
Okay. Okay.
So 3 months, and guess what? I've stayed till 20 years.
20 years.
So that's the most part of my working life.
Wow.
With,
so what would you say made you stay that long?
is the passion. I mean, there was so much work that turning something around is not easy. And that's what my uncle was telling me. So you don't want to go. Business, what were they teaching you? Turn around. Say, this is a live turnaround. So go help turn it around. And I'm glad to say, at least I can point my heart to my chest and say, yes, I played a key role in turning the National Lottery Department of Lotteries
DNL
to
NLA.
an authority.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're able to make it. These days, what we achieved is being watered down, but I know it will be corrected shortly.
What's your take on lotteries itself? I mean, for the consumer, do you stake lotto yourself?
I don't.
You don't. Why not?
Simply because in all areas of life, anything that you're involved in, if you partake into it and you do win, who will trust you? Who will believe you? So technically, lottery employees are not allowed to participate.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is lottery a good thing?
Lottery is a good thing depending on where you're looking at, but from all angles, it's a good thing. Sometimes when I used to do marketing, my mind is to generate revenue for the authority. But the same way, as I talk about youth and social delinquencies, is to also be mindful about not people taking the game as work.
Yeah.
It's just a game.
Yeah.
So people will ask you, is lottery a game or a plan? You know those lotto doctors.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake by going to stand by them, you'll be convinced, because they can deduce it to make sure that you buy their numbers to go and stake.
Yeah.
Because of the laws of probability, yes, it's a game of plan. You go to the village, your old grandmother who's lived in the village all her life tells you, my friend, the way I'm seeing the sky to rain. And of course it rains. Grandma must be a witch.
Yeah.
No, it's just law of probability. I mean, 90% of the time, if you could see the clouds forming on the other side, it rains. And that's how they've calculated it.
I see.
Yes. But we say it's a game of chance. It's a game of chance where you play to win sometime. So do not put more than 5% of your income to play lottery.
So you know a lot of lotto doctors.
Oh, of course.
Are they rich?
You see, so they make their money through doctoring.
Okay.
So
not through the lottery.
no, because otherwise, look at all this. Now, society has changed. When we were growing up, how dare Okonfo to put their number on the screen or advertise? You don't. Okonfo is not in the city. He's in somewhere far away, minding their business. It's a competitor. Okonfo mpedidi. But now
or whatever
they
our
are in
president
town
said.
and everything. So, caveat emptor, buyer beware. So, lottery is not a job. It's just a game.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's good because we technically are selling hope. People want financial emancipation, freedom. So they work for you so long, they don't even see their way ahead. No light at the end of that tunnel. And then they play and they win. So can you imagine? So technically you could see it thrives in downtrodden areas. So that's why we must do the good courses and advise them not to be addicted. Lottery addiction is a whole ball game.
Yeah.
So as much as we want to rake in revenue, we must also mitigate the addiction factor as well.
Yeah. I mean, it is a cause for concern, and especially in recent times as well, because the conversation about betting, which I know there's lottery and there's betting,
similar.
They're quite similar. So
they are all games of chance.
Yes, and a lot of young people are addicted to betting, and I'm sure if they understood lottery like the lotto doctor, who is not rich, they probably would be addicted to that as well. So I don't know how you feel about these phenomena now, even though, yes, your job is to rake in revenue and still try to mitigate the effects of it, it's still prevalent.
So we need to look at our laws carefully and look at how responsible we are as a people and as game operators. How responsible are we operating the games? We talked about people in university playing, they're not that young. They're young adults, so they know, and they've finished the middle cycle going to the tertiary now, so they know what they're doing. But if you find people under 18 line up at the betting shops playing this bet, where are we? What kind of future are we looking for them? So that's where the responsible gaming, the onus lies on society and operators and the government as a whole to find a way to mitigate these social ills.
So I'm just wondering, there was never a time in your 20 years at the NLA that you felt, this person win. I don't know, what's the highest amount somebody won probably during your time that you can recall?
It will be difficult to do, but there's a young man who was at the University of Mines and whatever, Takwa.
Yes, UMAT.
And he won twice.
Twice?
Yes, and we're trying to find out what kind of a person. Is it true that he won? And we do all our checks.
Okay.
And of course he had won. And he told us.
A huge sum.
Yes, and it was about a bit of planning and whatever. And our lottery is unlike what pertains abroad in Europe and America or other parts of the world, which makes it even more dangerous. You could win the jackpot in UK or America with $1 or $5. Ghana, it is fixed odds. Fixed odds is the player's game. You play to win how much more you want to win. And of course, the bigger your stake, the higher your wins.
Yeah.
This is the problem. So if the guy wants to win a lot, he now needs to invest a lot. That is the school fees that he's investing there. But there would have been nothing wrong that daddy has given you your school fees of maybe 5,000 cedis and you use even a whole 100 cedis to go and play. Even if you use 1,000 cedis, you still got 4,000 to go and pay part of your school fees. But now the guy is calculating, is getting carried away. Last month he played 1,000 once so much, so why not put all your 5,000 school fees? And then he's got no school fees left. So unlike abroad, he would have been able to use like 10 cedis
Yeah.
to try for the jackpot,
Yeah.
or play even multiple times, which would have increased his chances of winning. So the very nature of our games should make us all conscious to help in mitigating the social.
If you had to advise young people about this, what would you tell them?
Be careful. Addiction could be drug, could be substance, drink, and lottery and gambling as well.
Yeah.
So addiction is addiction. Whatever will not help you, it will be stealing from you, your whole body or your life, bit by bit. Carefully doesn't sink you deeper.
Yeah.
You know, at any rate, any adult. That's why we say it is not for people below 18. It's for
Right.
above 18.
Yeah.
Even then, do not spend more than 5% of your income on gambling.
All right, there you go. That's some very good advice for you out there. If you are in it or you're thinking of it, yeah? Do not spend more than 5% of it. And it's only a game of chance, so don't take it seriously like that. There's more to life than that, right? Okay, now let's talk about your leadership throughout these years. What's the biggest leadership lesson that you'd want to share with us?
For me, as I said, leadership is to serve. And when you are serving, don't look back, don't look to the side. Just be focused. Focus on the game that you're doing. So my mandate was to set up a new marketing department for the lotteries. And every business, marketing as to business expansion and product development is the key. So, and I focused on it, and we're able to expand the lottery to all corners of Ghana, and was able to change the game from once a week to all days of the week. And I have even multiple games in the week.
Yeah.
So I think I laid a good foundation. And then the special project that I went on to build was for community relations, which is now good causes. Because apart from the fact that the profits go to the consolidated fund, it used to do schools, hospitals, roads, and the rest. Fine, but people still complain, where does the money go? So that's why we need to be visible in the communities. So then there's, oh, this is national lotteries. I remember Brigadier General Nuno Mensah came to solicit our help to help him build an IT center for Nsaba Islamic School.
Okay.
So why not? Muslim or not, there is an education institution. So we help him set it up. And so Christian or Muslim, we help everybody across. Secondly, the same Brigadier Nuno Mensah came to solicit help for furnishing some houses that he's built for the health facility at Aguna Nyakrum. Because you post doctors there, you post nurses there, they won't stay if there's no accommodation. And of course, we help him. These are some of the social factors that institutions need to help mitigate for the service of communities as a whole.
All right, there you go. You've had a very, very colorful life journey. And in 2022, right, you decided to retire.
It's
Yeah.
not decided.
Well.
Ghana, whether I like it or yes. If you hit 60, you're gone.
It was just not long ago that I think I saw a directive from the president about, you know, the consultancy arrangements for people who have retired as well.
You know.
He's trying to put it that way and all of that. So I understand. I mean, I was having a conversation with Rabito a few months ago, and he was talking about the fact that even though you're retired, you have a wealth of knowledge that you still you know, you own, that you can still make an impact with. And probably for people like you, that's why you decided to set up a consultancy and
Definitely.
also an impact organization called the Gyamfi-Osew Foundation. And for those people who want to probably get in touch with you and support this cause, because I know it's a very, very big dream that you have, how do they do that?
For friends and friends as in personal friends and institutional friends and other corporate bodies to also come and help expand the quantum of help that we can give to the youth especially.
Okay.
And communities that we don't think much of. Is if you stay in Accra here, you lose touch.
Yeah.
But since I was made a chief, I keep going more up there. And so I'm now being conversant with the happenings.
Yeah.
And I think they need more of whatever help they can get. So
Okay,
we'll
that's
continue
great,
to
that's
support.
Nana, what is the biggest mistake you've made in your life?
The biggest mistake, I would say, probably not being bold enough to dive into things as I should have. Like, as you said, coming home when I was younger, that was a good move. But the other things, maybe like business moves that I'd wanted to do. And people, I remember when I go to Lord, people will come and say, why are you wasting your time in government institution? Government institutions, so what? That if you go to people that we want to emulate, Asian tigers, the Malaysians and whatever, they look for the, what do you call it? What is one? The first class people to go to the ministries. 'Cause these are policy makers. So the policy that will drive the whole nation. But in Ghana, say, Lexis, so how? You get bank, so I don't get to. What about insurance? Oh, I could try ministry. Oh, how? Ministry should be first. So I was happy doing what I was doing at the lotteries because the government institution. Service, as I said, is key. So when you serve the nation, it comes back to serve you anyway. So,
Would you say you regret anything?
Regret is not my thing. It's mistakes are made all right, but you grow out of mistakes and from mistakes. So 10 years, 20 years down the line, look back, I could have done it this way. So now do it. And that's how I can tell you. If you tell me a business, I could tell you this will work or this will not work. When my friends want to come back to settle, they say, tell me what, you may not like what I'm doing, but you tell me 3 things that you are passionate about. And together we'll narrow into one that will help you. So doing it yourself, regardless of the failures, help you to be a better person.
Right.
Always.
Right. How are you able to manage, a very busy schedule with all the projects that you're working on and family as well? And especially because most of the time, I think you mentioned they were in the UK most of the time?
Yes, they're still in there. I see work as fun. That's why do not be boxed into a profession or a job that you don't enjoy. I've always enjoyed people. I've always enjoyed marketing. And marketing is about people. It's about stuff. So I don't see it as hard work. It's like me doing my thing. So it keeps me going. I love meeting people. I love visiting new places. So that's what marketing does. You need to explore new places, new things, new ideas. So that's been my life. So no regrets. No regrets. Things that money did not give me, life gave me and taught me. And I'm grateful.
Okay, okay. Now, what's the biggest lesson in all totality that you learned in life?
Is as much as possible, money is good, but do not chase. If you keep on doing the right things consistently, money will come.
Okay.
That's why they say it's not, Lexis, what are you doing? Want to do some? No. What is the situation within the environment? Is there a problem that needs fixing?
Yeah.
You are fixing it, you get a joy out of that. But most of the time, fixing it will bring you revenue. So find a problem to solve. It's not just wanting money for how would you make money, but what is the problem? The whole area since you came, if you want bread, you have to trek to the junction mall. So if you can't be a baker, be a distributor, distribute bread.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So look within your environment, your town, and see what is the yearning for,
Yeah.
but not there.
Okay.
And solve the problem.
What's your greatest fear?
Greatest fear, technically, is it's not about dying, because dying, everybody would die. And once you're born of a woman, you will die someday. But I want to live long to experience what's ahead as well.
Okay.
But good health is what I pray for.
Yeah.
Because there's no point growing old without good health. And things that we take or took for granted, when you get to a point you now need help, then that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
And that's what I pray
Okay.
not to get into.
Well, we thank God that you're healthy so far, and we
Amen.
pray that He continues to keep you healthy.
Hallelujah.
And in good health
I
as
claim
well.
it. Amen.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's been so wonderful getting to know about your journey and your life as well, and we appreciate all that you're doing for the community as well in Okuapehene. You are a very honorable son of the land, and we celebrate you today.
I thank you for coming as well.
Yes.
And we pray that God keep on guiding us to do the right things and keep us on the straight and narrow path.
Amen. There you go. Nana Gyamfi-Osew, Okuapehene Sompahene. Yes. Dr. Osew, Gyamfi-Osew, has been my guest on Personality Profile on Joy 99.7 FM. What a very amazing life he's had. And I'm sure you've learned a thing or two from this conversation. And of course, if you'd want to support the Kwesi Foundation, the Nana Gyamfi-Osew Foundation, you can look it up on the website, nanagyamfi-osewfoundation.org, and see if you can donate and partner with them to create a change in our society and help the youth as well. I'm Lexis Bill on behalf of my crew. Thank you so much for staying with us, and we'll come your way again next week with another wonderful conversation. Bye-bye. Hello there, and welcome to Personality Profile.